Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the new Ultimate Stage boss, which is going to be the 11 Sealed Ultimate Stage Lord, Destruction and Creation Monesis. This is going to be an Earth attribute card and has the ability of being different races. It can be a God, Beast, Elf, Dragon, Demon, or Machina card. I'll be taking a look at their leader skills, active skills, and team skills, and letting you know my thoughts and opinions about this card. So let's get started with the leader skills. We have that all Monesis and 8-star members or higher will get a times 11 team attack bonus. When the team has 5 or more races, your HP increases by 4 times. And by dissolving attributive runestones, each Monesis launches an attack of that attribute as much as 50% of their own attack. Now let's take a look at their team skills. We have that when there is a Monesis in the team, any Monesis will synchronize their attribute with the leader. Damage will be dealt regardless of defense, and it will launch an extra attack of its original attribute. After the summoner's defeat, skill CD of any Monesis will become 0. Furthermore, when both the leader and ally are Monesis, any Monesis, so God, Beast, Elf, Dragon, Demon, or Machina, you will get the following team skill effects. Runestone movement time will be increased by 11 seconds to 11 seconds. Heart runestones will possess the effect of runestones of the team members' attributes. After dissolving runestones, earth runes will be generated in the column below any Monesis in the first batch, while for any other members, the first batch will be dropped will be heart runes in the columns below other members in the first batch. At the end of each round, you will remove 2 runestones in each column. Runestones not of the leader's attribute will rank first in priority, and it will be replaced by enchanted runestones of the leader's attribute and race. So since you're running Monesis, it is going to be an enchanted earth rune, and the attribute will depend on which Monesis you are running on their team. By dissolving God, Demon, or Machina runestones, any Monesis and 8-star members will have their attack increased by 5 times. Damage will be dealt regardless of Puzzle Shield, Initial Shield, and Fixed Combo Shield. And by dissolving Beast, Elf, or Dragon runestones, your combo count and EX combo count will increase by 11. Additionally, by dissolving 11 or more runestones in the first batch, you get an 11 million snipe to all enemies before your attack, and 11% of this snipe damage will be recovered to you as HP recovery. So now let's take a look and what do I think about Monesis as a leader. As a leader, I think Monesis is pretty good. You do have a team attack of times 11, which is pretty high in the current meta, and you also are not limited to any team composition in the game, which means that you have access to all the cards in the game so far. However, you will only get bonuses for Monesis and 8-star or higher members, but this means that you can still run support cards that can boost your other team members even if they are not Monesis or if they are 7-star or lower. Granted, you will lose some damage output from that, but if you can make it up by a attack boosting card or like say Yoko or something that can further boost your entire team, then that means that it might be worth slotting in the team. The good thing is, like I said before, you have access to every single card in the game, so utility and shield breaking potential is not an issue for Monesis, so you can use anything that you have in their inventory. When the team has 5 or more races, your team HP increases by 4 times, which is a pretty beefy amount of HP. Typically, cards that have an HP increasing leader skill will only increase by 2 times, 1.8 times, things like that. Times 4 is a pretty generous number, which means that you will have a pretty high HP pool to deal with, especially because you are running 8-star or higher members. 8-star cards or higher typically have pretty high HP, which means that your HP pool is going to be pretty significant. Add Needhog to the mix, and then you can even have a further bigger HP pool. Especially if you're running dual leader and ally with Monesis, you get a times 4 and another times 4 from the other ally, and your HP is going to be pretty tanky. This means that you're going to survive a lot of hits that you're probably would struggle to with a normal team in the current meta. By dissolving attribute of runestones, each Monesis will launch an extra attack of that attribute, which is pretty nice because this itself will give you access to breaking 5 attack shields. So for example, the shields that require 1 attack of each attribute, you can break it with your leader just by itself. So if you dissolve all water, fire, earth, light, and dark, Monesis themselves will launch all 5 attacks, which will allow your entire team to deal damage to these enemies with very annoying skills. At a baseline, this is a very nice attack increase because you're launching at most 5 extra attacks, and this can also give you more potential to kill enemies faster. So at a baseline, Monesis' leader skill is pretty good. Um, Typically, the attack bonus tends to be times 7, but they also include like a 1.5 or like 1.8 types of things. But a baseline of times 11 is pretty good in my opinion, especially if you're going to be running dual leader and ally. It's a times 11, no conditions, um, except for the members that you're running. So now let's take a look at the team skill, um, which will further complement Monesis as a leader. If there is a Monesis in the team, this is going to be pretty nice for both leader Monesis and member Monesis. Attribute will synchronize to that of the leader, damage will be dealt regardless of defense, and launches an extra attack of its original attribute. This is going to make Monesis a very, very appealing member for any other leaders that come out in the future that can slot Monesis in the team. This is because your attribute synchronizes, which means that cards that benefit a single attribute will still be able to boost Monesis. Damage will be dealt regardless of defense, that's just a nice bonus to have, and an extra attack was also nice to have. Think of the second one as a nice bonus. Unless you are reviving with diamonds, this does not apply. Because once you revive with diamonds, you are able to have a CD0 Monesis. But if you're planning on saving your diamonds and not reviving, then this skill will probably not affect you during your gameplay. But it is nice to know that you have it. But yeah, now let's back to leader Monesis. We have that when both the leader and ally, you do get extended runestone movement time, which is going to be very nice. You also have runestone possession effect, which if you are running any card that is not Monesis, you can guarantee heart runes to drop in the column in the first batch for the columns of members that are not Monesis. And because heart runes possess the effect of other runestones of your members' attributes, this means that your other members will always have attacking runes. This is also true for Monesis because you get Earth Rune guaranteed Skydrop, which means that it is going to be really easy to get attacking runes and you will not experience runestone drought for a Monesis team. At the end of the round, you do generate enchanted runes of the leader's attribute and race, and these are generated no matter what because the runestones are removed. So even if there is a conversion block or a grid shield, it will still remove 2 runestones, and you can still get those attributive and race runes on the board. And thanks to that, you are going to be able to benefit from the following 2 effects, depending on which Monesis you are running. If you're running a God, Demon, or Machina, you get a further times 5 attack bonus, which in my opinion is going to be really good, especially because it will boost your damage to higher levels. Since the leader's skill itself doesn't have any other attack bonuses, this times 5 attack bonus is very much welcome. Damage will be also dealt regardless of Puzzle Shield, Initial Shield, and Fixed Combo Shield. So in my opinion, these are the 3 more common shields in the game right now. Puzzle Shield, Initial Shield, and Fixed Combo Shield appear multiple times in a single round even. So being able to ignore them through a team skill means that you don't have to run a utility card that counters it, and you don't have to wait for your cooldowns in order to deal with them. This passive will always be active and you will always be able to deal damage regardless of these shields, and because they're the most common ones, it is very nice to have inbuilt into your team skill. If you're running Beast, Elf, or Dragon Monesis, your combo count increases by 11, and your EX combo count also increases by 11. In my opinion, if you had to choose one or the other, I would always go with the God, Demon, or Machina Monesis leader, since you are guaranteed those race runes from the above team skill. But you can still generate Beast, Elf, or Dragon runestones through other means if you bring like a utility card, and you can still benefit from this. But I think as a baseline, running a God, Demon, or Machina Monesis is going to be better because this team skill of the times 5 attack and the shield ignoring team skill is more beneficial than just having an 11 combo count. That being said, combo count is pretty important. If you've ever run a Lilith team, you know that she has very easy time killing things because she has a combo increasing effect, and this also counters a lot of enemies in the game, which is pretty nice to have. That being said, Monesis has guaranteed Skydrop, so generating a lot of combos might not be an issue for them. But yeah, by dissolving 11 or more runestones in the first patch, deal a snipe damage of 11 million, and you will recover 11% of this snipe damage as HP recovery. And this is going to be about, if the entire 11 million goes through, you will recover about 1.2 million HP, which is way more than any team in the game currently is able to have. So this is basically a full recovery if your snipe damage goes through. Keep in mind that the snipe damage might not go through depending on the enemy shield. So nowadays enemy shields are very annoying, so this snipe damage more often than not might not go through. So just treat this as a nice bonus to have. So yeah, and also 11 runes in the first batch is not that hard to hit. Um, this is an average of 4 combos, which in my opinion is pretty easy to get. So definitely this skill is just a nice bonus that it's easy to get, so it's nothing annoying to just go for it every single round. If you haven't noticed yet, Monesis is very focused on the 11, the number 11, and this makes sense because it is the 11th seal lord. So we have runestone movement time is 11 seconds, team attack bonus is 11, combo count increases by 11, snipe damage is 11 million, and 11% of the snipe damage will be recovered to your HP. So in my opinion, Monesis is pretty good as a leader. You have a lot of shield breaking potential, you have damage output, you have extended runestone movement time, you have runestone possession effects, and you also have additional damage bonus, shield breaking, you have combo count increase, and you have an inbuilt snipe. And snipe damages are very non-significant in the game given how big the enemy HPs are, but they are very useful at getting rid of stealth shield. And if you don't have a sniper, that means you have to bring a sniper, and snipers are usually very weak. And so occupying one of your team slots with a sniper sometimes reduces your damage output by a little bit. So being able to have it as your team skill will free up that team slot for you to bring on more powerful members and more powerful utility. So in my opinion, Monesis has a lot of good things going for it as a leader, and given that it is a free card, granted the stage is a little bit hard, um, given that it is a free card, I think it is a very good leader to have, especially if you don't have that many good leaders in the game right now, because of all the team skills that it has and all the damage output that it gets, and the ability to run any other um, team or any other card in the game in their team. Granted, you want to run it with more Monesis, different race Monesis if possible, but you can also run other power release Seal Lords. You can also run Supreme Reckoning cards, and these cards will also help you a lot because they usually have pretty good skills as well. So, pretty good leader. However, going on to the negatives, the downfall that I can see is that once the HP of enemies increase by a lot, this card will probably fall out of the meta because you don't have that much raw damage output. So once the HP of the enemies increases by too much, then you would have to rely on a lot of enemies or utility cards and boosting effects in order to be able to beat stages. The other downside for this team, and it is going to be a hard counter for this team, is going to be enemies that don't allow you to dissolve heart runes or don't allow you to dissolve earth runes. Because your attacking runes are going to be earth and heart, any enemy that blocks your earth runes or blocks your heart runes from being dissolved is going to be very annoying, to the point that it might actually cost you the stage. However, if you don't encounter these enemies, you are going to be fine. and it is going to be pretty easy to beat the stage if you can get through those. But keep in mind that if you encounter an enemy that blocks your Earth runes or your Heart runes, your damage output is going to be severely hindered by that. So if you encounter those enemies, good luck. Or just take a look at the team stage info and plan accordingly, and you should be fine. But yeah, overall, a pretty solid leader, especially for a free-to-play card. Access to every single card in the game, good team skills, good shield breaking potential. So overall, a pretty good leader in my opinion. Now let's take a look at their active skill. This is going to be a 1 out of 2 skills, where the second skill can only be activated when your craft apparatus is fully charged. This is going to be a CD8 skill and has the following effect. Explode all runestones to generate runestones of 5 attributes of fixed numbers and fixed positions. For 1 round, members of the character's race will have an attack and recovery boost of ×2. If an enemy is defeated at the end of the round, the members will enter a hyper state for 2 rounds, and for 2 rounds, any Monesis will not have their active skills locked. Now, let's take out the second part. This is going to be the board of the fixed convert. This guarantees you with the stack runes, this guarantees you a 6 combo. So pretty useful, and you don't have to think about spinning. You can just drag 1 rune and you are done. Also, it was going to be pretty easy to hit the equal combo shields for 5 attributes, because you can make 1 combo of each attribute easily with this board. For the second effect, we have a pretty much upgrade of the original effect. Remove all runestones to generate enchanted runestones of all types of fixed numbers and fixed positions. And this is going to be different because the first one only explodes the runestones, so it can be blocked by certain enemy skills. For example, the grid shield, or petrified or frozen condensed runes. Those will not be able to explode. But removing all runestones will bypass all of these and be able to give you ability to remove those board hazards. And the board itself goes a little bit different. Here you are guaranteed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combo with the sky drops. So that is going to be pretty beneficial, since you also again don't really need to think about spinning. Just spin once and the sky drop will take care of the rest with a stacking that is already granted to you. Again, also allows you to bypass equal combo shields for all 5 attributes and hearts if you need that as well. So definitely a good board to have as a fixed convert as well. For the next effect we have for 1 round, members of the character's race will have an attack recovery boost of ×3 instead of ×2. And if an enemy is defeated at the end of the round, members of the character's race will enter a hyperstate for 3 rounds, and for 3 rounds, any Monesis and members of its race will not have their active skills locked. In my opinion, you should always go for this one, because this is a strict upgrade to the original skill. And so save your craft in order to get this effect. And the reason I say this is because you get a longer or a higher attack bonus. You get a better board with more combos. You also get a longer hyper state, and also the unlocking effect includes all the members of Monesis' race. And so if you're running, say for example, multiple dragons, then all your dragons will be able to activate their skills. Meanwhile, in the first one, only Monesis will have their active skills not locked. And so definitely always go for the second one if you can. But the first skill is still pretty good. In my opinion, this skill, CD8, is a little bit slow. CD8 is actually a little bit slow in the current meta. But I do think it's a very good effect because it guarantees a fixed board and fixed convert, which in my opinion is very beneficial, especially for certain annoying enemy skills. Being able to not have to think about your spinning definitely makes it easier to bypass those things. But you also get a pretty decent attack and recovery boost, and you also get a hyper state for 2 rounds, and immunity to lock active skills. And locked active skills can usually be pretty annoying, so being able to bypass that, it is going to be pretty nice. In my opinion, this is going to be a nicer skill for a member Monesis, because Monesis themselves, as a leader, also relies on Skydrop. If you, granted, you can always just spin away the stacking to make it a single first batch full board dissolve, and that is going to be really nice. But if you're only running, for example, if you have a Thorn Path and you can only move one rune, then this active skill doesn't really work that well for Monesis. But in general, it is still pretty good because you can still get a full board dissolve, and this means that you get a full board Skydrop guarantee from leader Monesis. For other teams, this is also still a pretty good skill to have. Fixed board and fixed position um, will definitely help you out no matter what leader you're running. And if you're running Monesis in a certain leader's team, it means that your Monesis is most likely going to be of the same race. For example, if I'm running a Jitsun team, I'm running a Dragon team, a Dragon Monesis. This means that I will be able to get an attack of recovery times 2 and a hyper state for all the members in that round. And if you activate the second effect, all members in your team, if you're running a mono dragon team with Monesis as a member, their active skill will also not be locked. And the reason why I say this active skill kind of clashes with Monesis as a leader too is because for Monesis to have your HP buff, you're running 5 or more races, which means that all your members are going to be of different race, which means that this hyperstate and this locked effect will only affect one of your members if you're running 5 or more races. Unless you're running a mono Monesis team, then this means that all your members are going to be different races. So this hyperstate doesn't really affect, will not really benefit you if you're running Monesis as a leader, which is why I say this active skill is better suited for Monesis as a member. That being said, the active skill is still pretty useful for Monesis given the fixed convert and the attack increase, but the second part is going to be more beneficial if you have Monesis as a member. But yeah, so overall, I do think Monesis' active skill is pretty good. CD8 is going to be a little bit slow, but in my opinion, it is definitely worth having in your team, no matter what leader you're running, because times 2 or times 3 attack and recovery is a very nice damage bonus and recovery bonus. And if you're able to kill an enemy, you still get a further bonus of hyperstate and also immunity to locked skills, which is a very good utility to have. But again, in terms of a Monesis leader Monesis team, the active skill is still pretty nice for the fixed convert, but the utility of it falls short a little bit just because it clashes with the leader skill itself. But yeah, so overall, what do I think of Monesis? I think Monesis is going to be a pretty nice card, pretty good leader to have if you don't have that many leaders. And in my opinion, I think it is going to be pretty fun to play as well. But I definitely think that Monesis is a card that you should definitely want to have in your inventory, because this card is very flexible. You can have it as one of 6 races in the game, which means that you can slot it in many teams without breaking your achievements and without breaking like team skills like that. So being able to add Monesis to any single team in the game, well, not any single team, but any team that can fit gods, beasts, elf, dragon, demon, or machina is definitely beneficial to have. And so definitely recommend getting Monesis, at least 1 copy, and or at least 2 copies, 1 god, and then evolve the second one so that you can switch between forms. Because being able to have a card that can switch between races is going to be really beneficial. And like I said before, the active skill as a member and the team skill as a member is going to be really beneficial for any leader in the game, especially with the whole attribute synchronization and also the utility from the active skill. Definitely worth to have as a member for any of your teams in the future, or now and the future. So definitely worth getting 1 copy. The stage is really hard, or really annoying. 26 stages is actually pretty terrible. But definitely worth the effort of getting this card, because I do predict that this card might be a staple member in future teams as well, just because of the sheer amount of benefit that you get with a single card. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on anything. And as always, let me know in the comments below if I said yeah. Let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on anything. As always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.